this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Work can be a little weird. Cringy training seminars, coworkers who won't stop talking about their plant, forgetting the mute button at an inopportune moment. We have to deal with a lot on any given workday. Sometimes it can feel hard to thrive and move forward in your career. Well, that's where LinkedIn comes in. LinkedIn helps you get ideas and insights from experts in your field, connect with people professionally, grow your network, and access tools designed to help you find the right fit for your next role. Whether you're just getting started, figuring out your next move, or looking to accelerate your career, LinkedIn is built to support you at every stage because LinkedIn is the network that works for you. Visit linkedin.com/know stuff to learn more.
If audiobooks are your thing and you've been meaning to listen to more of them, you should check out a podcast called Earsay, the Audible and iHeart Audio Club, hosted by Cal Penn. Each episode spotlights standout audiobooks on Audible across all kinds of genres: sci-fi, comedy, romance, thrillers, and more, with Cal talking to guests who help break down what makes each story worth listening to. It's a fun, easy way to discover your next great audiobook. Check out Earsay on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to Stuff You Should Know from HowStuffWorks.com.
Hey, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Josh Clark, and there's Charles W. Chuck Bryant, and there's Jerry over there. So this is Stuff You Should Know, Military Edition. Actually, more bureaucracy edition than anything else.
Yeah, and I found this, for a bureaucratic episode, I found it way more interesting than I thought I would.
Those usually turn out to be more interesting than you'd think, you know?
Yeah.
I can't think of one that we've done bureaucracy in the bureaucracy suite that wasn't like, this is surprisingly interesting.
Yeah, this is pretty good.
Yep, agreed.
Because I registered for the Selective Service, as did you, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you've been dodging all these years.
Right. I finally made it.
But I never really gave it much thought because dudes like you and I in today's modern era don't really, when I registered, I was like, yeah, whatever, this will probably mean nothing. But it's really interesting when you dig into it and what it could have meant or could mean.
When I registered, I was like, wait, what's going on here again? And my dad was like, just do it. It's fine. You'll get in trouble if you don't. I was like, oh, I don't want to get in trouble.
Was your dad in the military?
Yeah, he was Air Force.
During Vietnam?
Right before Vietnam.
Because my dad did not go to Vietnam, and I think I always felt weird about it. He would never talk to me about that, but that's the sense that I got.
Did you grow up in Canada for like the first part of your life or anything?
No, but he was, and as you'll find out throughout the course of this episode about the various deferments and exceptions and things, he was a lone breadwinner for a family of one, then two, then eventually three, in college studying to be a teacher. So he checked a lot of boxes that will get you out of the war. Right.
Well, they probably talked him out of it. They're like, buddy, your life's hard enough as it is.
Yeah, maybe.
That would be a hardship deferment, right?
Well, I guess it depends because teachers were something, as we'll learn later in the show, were very, very much valued.
Oh, yeah.
And if you were in college and if you were the lone breadwinner of a family, so he had a few things going in his favor, I guess, if you're looking to not go to war.
Yeah, all he had to be was a non-U.S. citizen living in the United States from a country with a treaty with the U.S. who is also morally opposed to the war and with a criminal record. That'd be about it.
He might have been a little too old, actually, too, now that I think about it.
I mean, he could have been if he was in grad school?
I think he was in grad school.
Yeah, he might have been.
Yeah.
Because I think it was back then, we were talking Nam, I think it was 18 to 25 is what it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he could have been beyond that. Yeah, then all those boxes were checked.
I think he probably was.
So, in case you guys didn't pick up on this yet, we're talking about the draft. That's what it's called in America. But America is far from the only country that's ever had a draft. It's actually a pretty old concept, dating back as far, I think I've seen as far back as like the 2nd century BC China.
Yeah.
I think the Qing dynasty or Jing. How do you pronounce it with the Q? You think I would have looked that up?
I think it's, how do you spell it?
Jing, Qing?
Qing.
Wait, the Jing. I think it's Jing.
Okay.
I think so. Anyway, one of the dynasties toward the 2nd century BC China had conscription, and it was, I think, just about every civilization with a military said, "Oh, that's a pretty good idea. Let's try that." So basically, everybody's tried it from time to time, and the U.S. has had drafts multiple times. The Civil War, both the North and the South had drafts. In the I think the War of 1812, there was even one. The First World War, there was a draft. Second World War, there was a draft. And then most recently, the draft was in Vietnam from 1961 to 1973, I think, right?
Yeah, and we'll get to the did you read that New York Times article?
No.
That I sent? Oh, boy, that was a good one. Well, we'll get to the ins and outs a little bit at the end with that article. But prior to Vietnam, the draft had generally been a sort of roundly accepted kind of good thing to most people. So it really wasn't until Vietnam where we found ourselves with a lot of different social forces meeting up with the war that a lot of people didn't believe in, is where we had sort of our first big backlash against the idea of a draft.
That was where that's the war just being utterly unpopular almost across the board is where I saw was the big reason why the resistance to the draft first began, because of Vietnam. Up to that point, wars were generally popular among the majority of Americans.
Yeah, and we also need to shout out one Genghis Khan.
Or Chinggis.
Or Chinggis Khan. Kane. Because I think we mentioned in that episode that he used to draft, right?
Kind of. I think that was more like a join me or die kind of thing, which I guess that qualifies as conscription.
Well,
Yeah.
in America, it's join me or go to jail. So
Yeah, it's close. Yeah, it's close. So yeah, you're right. He definitely had that, and he's actually the tie that binds this episode and the next one too, the one on the Pony Express, because he had a fast mail service on horseback. Remember?
yeah, and it's probably not fair to say that he had a draft because you're right. It was more just like come aboard or I'll have your head.
Right.
But I did want to mention that there was another movie that we missed. There was a movie not too long ago called Mongol.
Oh yeah, supposedly it was like a good one with a legitimately good actor in there.
Yeah, it was a weird. They covered it on the Friendly Fire movie podcast that I listened to, and it's supposedly pretty good. I want to check it out. It was like a weird, like a Russian / Kazakhstani production that did feature Asian actors only.
Produced by Borat.
I don't know, but it was supposed to be pretty good.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, I want to see it too.
Is it on Netflix or Prime?
I don't know about that.
Oh, by the way, Chuck, I feel so remiss. Happy Prime Day.
Is it Prime Day?
Oh, of course it's Prime Day. How could you not know?
I already bought all my stuff.
That was some buzz marketing of all time.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this draft. Okay?
Sure.
And I think we'll hold like the pros and cons debate for later off. Let's just talk about what the draft is in America. How about that? Because I think it bears a pretty strong resemblance to drafts in other countries.
Yeah. So in the United States, in our military now, this article is a little outdated, but I believe for this year, our budget is about 1.31 million active duty personnel and about 815,000 reservists. And this is what our volunteer military force looks like. But in certain times, we have a draft. They also call it conscription. And that's when we feel like, and, there's debate on whether or not this will ever happen again, but that's when the president and Congress feels like we need to call up people involuntarily because we need more bodies.
Yeah, the standing volunteer force that we have right now is considered more than enough or at least enough for the current peacetime.
Quote unquote peacetime.
Yeah, if you take the endless wars that aren't technically wars because Congress never declared war out of the equation, then we're in peacetime, right? And so these guys, especially with our advancing, and I use guys in the gender neutral sense, especially with the advancing technology that's being used in the military now, that's actually a pretty healthy amount of active duty people. But yes, if there were something that happened, say another world war or something, there's a pretty good chance that a draft is going to get started pretty quickly. And for that to happen, the government would say, okay, selective service system, do your thing. And the selective service system would kick into action. And this is what I did not know, Chuck. Jimmy Carter is the one who activated the selective service system. Did you know that?
Oh, no way.
When the Soviets invaded Afghanistan, because the last draft was in 1973, and it was just done. And then in 1980, when the Soviets invaded Afghanistan, Carter was really on edge about that. And in 1981, he just basically activated the selective service system. And that's what you were talking about earlier, where you're 18 or the first time you're eligible between the ages of 18 and 25, you go to your post office, you go to your government website, there's several places you can go, and you basically fill out a card saying, I am an 18-year-old American citizen or a resident alien or any number of things, and it's specifically a man, and here's my info. Give me a call if you guys ever run into any trouble.
Yeah, and so the SSS, the Selective Service System, is who is in charge of basically operating and plugging in the draft and overseeing it if it ever gets reinstated.
Right. So they have really ultimately, this article does a good job of pointing this out. The Selective Service System is basically just a system of names and addresses kept on file of all American men eligible to be drafted. So basically between the age of 18 and 25.
Yeah, so you mentioned women. About 5 or 6 years ago, there was the repeal of the ground combat exclusion, and they've since then have been working on basically opening up, I don't know about all jobs, but I think most or maybe all jobs to women as well as men in the military. But you still, despite that, they have not made the change where women have to register with SSS.
Yeah, it came like pretty close in committee, I think, last year. And it didn't make it out of committee, but it showed like a lot of resolve that's probably going to change in the next couple of years, I would guess, especially now that women are in combat roles in the military. That was traditionally the excuse for why they were not eligible for selective service. But now that they're doing combat roles in the volunteer army or the volunteer military, then it just makes sense that they would be eligible for the draft too.
Yeah, and right now I'm looking at the chart. This printout here, let's see, has got 8 categories where you do not need to. I was about to say turn yourself in. It's a Freudian slip.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to register. So if you're a member of the armed forces on active duty, obviously you don't need to. If you are a cadet and midshipman at service academies or the Coast Guard Academy, you do not need to.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a student in the officer procurement program at the Citadel, North Georgia College, and State University, Norwich, Virginia, VMI, Texas A&M, Virginia Polytech, and State University, you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here. It's under immigrants, lawful non-immigrants on current non-immigrant visas. If you are a seasonal agricultural worker on an H-2A visa, you don't have to.
Right.
If you're incarcerated or hospitalized or institutionalized, you do not need to.
Mm-hmm.
Under handicapped physically or mentally, you don't need to if you're continually confined to a residence, hospital, or institution. But you do have to if you're able to function in public with or without assistance.
Mm-hmm.
And then the newest, the latest and greatest, transgender people category.
Mm-hmm.
If you are an individual who are born female and have changed to male, you do not have to. But if you're born male and change your gender to female, you do have to.
So that pretty much flies in the face of trans. Wow, okay. I'm not surprised by that, but that seems a little putsy.
It dims the rules right now.
Yeah. So one of the things that stuck out to me, Chuck, was that if you are a citizen of another country living in the United States,
mm-hmm.
you have to register. If you're a male, you have to register for this, for selective service. But if your country has a treaty with the U.S. that says, if you guys ever do the draft or whatever, we don't want our people sucked into that.
Yeah.
The U.S. will honor that. You still have to go register, but then when they draft you, you get an exemption. But if you do get that exemption, you can never be a citizen of the United States. And if you ever leave the country, you might have trouble getting back in, is how the Selective Service puts it.
Yeah.
Which I would say that means you will definitely have trouble getting back in.
Probably so.
You know?
And you said 18 to 25 is the age where you have to register within 30 days of reaching eligibility. So in the case of your 18th birthday, within 30 days of that. Or let's say you're in like one of the exclusions, like you're in military school, but you drop out, but you're still 18 to 25, then it's within 30 days of that dropout date.
Right. And then, yeah, whether it's 30 days of your 18th birthday or 30 days of the first time you become eligible up to your 26th birthday.
Correct.
And then if you just say, I don't feel like going today, and you keep putting it off for, 7 years, when you get to be 26, along the way, you can do it late, and they'll say, hey, thanks for coming in. We're going to forgive this.
Sure.
If you wait until after you're 26 and you never get around to doing it, like as it stands on the books, you can be prosecuted for up to 5 years in prison and $250,000 fine.
Yeah.
You can also get that same penalty if you encourage someone not to sign up for selective service.
Oh, really?
But apparently they are not very big on prosecuting that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And instead, what they tend to do is they withhold federal job opportunities, some state job opportunities, federal student aid for college, federal work training program. If you're a defense contractor or any kind of contractor, you need a security clearance, you can kiss that goodbye. So there's stuff they can do short of fining you $250,000 and putting you in jail for 5 years. But there are penalties for just not ever filling out this little card.
Yeah, and I read, and especially in that Times article, that even during like the Vietnam War, like famous cases aside, like let's say, Muhammad Ali, which makes a lot of news, like they didn't really want people that didn't, like you didn't have to be all gung-ho, but they didn't want people that were just miserable about the whole thing.
Well, yeah, I saw that was well, we'll talk about it later. But
like that, there's like that wouldn't make a good soldier. It wouldn't serve anyone.
No.
So generally, they wanted people who are at least like, all right, well, I'll do this, all the way up to like, sign me up. I want to kill.
Right.
Should we take a break?
Yeah, let's. Man.
I think that's our cue when I say I want to kill. All right, we'll be right back after this.
Learning things with Chuck and Judge. Learning all the things, stuff you should know.
Hey, everybody, we're here to talk to you about Wayfair, who believes that spaces should be functional, they should be comfortable, they should be well-designed, and they can be well-designed by you with their help.
Your updated space should feel more comfortable, inviting, and practical for everyday use. And we're talking about outdoor seating. We're talking about grills. We're talking about major appliances. If you need storage solutions, Wayfair can help you out. Patio lighting, rugs, decor. It is your one-stop shop for home.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting nice out, so it's time to think about living outdoors for the next few months. And Wayfair knows that outdoor furniture, it's heavy, it's intimidating to assemble. So Wayfair has stepped in and said, we're going to handle the hard part so you don't have to.
That's right. You can shop Wayfair Verified, your shortcut to the good stuff. And that means their team of product specialists are going to vet everything by hand using a 10-point inspection, testing things like, quality materials, functionality, and features, and even how long it takes to build that piece of furniture. And the overall experience save time, reduce hassle, and improved convenience.
Patio season is here, and these deals won't last. So head to wayfair.com right now to get your outdoor space ready for way less. That's WAYFAIR.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Hey, everybody. I want to talk to you a little bit about Tide Evo because it represents over 10 years of innovation and product development. Tide Evo is a first-of-its-kind technology where tens of thousands of minuscule fibers are spun together to form a 6 times powerful layer packed with scrubbers, brighteners, pre-treaters, and fresheners. And that's going to deliver a breakthrough clean that's so powerful, it feels like magic.
Yeah, it is kind of like magic. Tide Evo is revolutionary. A 100% concentrated waterless laundry tile that's made of compressed microfiber soap layers rather than liquid or powder. And it's not like pods or sheets because it uses 6 layers of detergent fibers to deliver superior cold water cleaning without plastic packaging of any kind. And it provides a mess-free, lightweight solution that dissolves lickety-split. So whenever you run into a laundry challenge, turn to Tide Evo. It's revolutionary, it's magic. Try new Tide Evo. Real laundry magic.
Okay, so let's say that I saw that the head of Selective Service said basically it would take a Martian invasion to activate the draft again, I think is how she put it.
Well, that's good.
So if that happened, if we were invaded by Martians and the draft did start, one of the things that Carter set up in 1981 by activating the Selective Service was to, it's basically this government bureaucracy that's just waiting to spring into action. And it's kind of like kept on ice. There's 100 people working at this agency. They've got about $23 million a year in funding. Mm-hmm. And they just keep it at a ready state, but it's not actually doing what it's designed to do. It's just taking in information, names, addresses, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then, but if it were ever activated, it would kind of like, it'd be like one of those little dinosaur sponges. I mean, you put water on it and it grows into a big dinosaur sponge. That's basically what would happen with the SSS.
Yeah, so they would, like our article points out, they would kick into what you would call draft mode, and they would conduct a national draft lottery. And, you know, back in the Vietnam era, this was a dicey proposition to watch on television what looks like a money lottery, mm-hmm. you know, picking numbers. Mm-hmm. And this is how it goes. It's developed by the National Institute of Standards and Technology. And I assume this is how it would still go today, right?
Yeah, this is the current incarnation of the SSS.
All right, so a computer's going to print out all the dates in the current year in random order, put those dates in little capsules. It's so interesting how they do this.
They really look more like ping pong balls to me.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It looks like you could be a winner.
Right.
Except you're not.
But who calls it a capsule?
I don't know. Whoever wrote this.
Yeah, Tom Harris.
Oh, he's old school.
Yeah, I guess he's a weirdo, too.
Maybe he's never played ping pong. Then the computer prints out 1 through 365 for each day of the year mm-hmm. in random order, puts those in ping pong balls. The capsules containing dates are loaded into one drum. The others are loaded into another drum. They spin that thing. They spin the big wheel.
I think it's puffed by air.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
No, I was just trying to make it a little more fun.
Like I said, $23 million in funding a year.
Right. They can afford the air puff.
Mm-hmm.
They're being inspected and observed this whole time to make sure everything's going as planned. And then what happens on TV?
Okay, so the official who's running the thing, and again, yeah, they have TV there to make sure that this is documented and above the boards and all that stuff. And when the official pulls out the ball or the capsule, from one machine and then a capsule from another machine, and they read them out loud. So, for example, if the number from the one machine with all the dates of the year in it says April 22nd, and the other machine has 365 or 66 if it's a leap year, and that says number 42, then that means that every male who is eligible for the draft that turns 20 on April 22nd of that year will be in the 42nd group to receive their draft notices.
Yeah, they start, I guess, the ideal age that they feel is fair is 20 years old.
Right. So that's where they start with the draft. Because again, remember, it's between 18 and 25, you're eligible. But they start with the 20-year-olds. And then they do this so over and over again for all 365 or 66 days of the year. They pair a date of that year with a number, and that's the people whose 20th birthday falls on that year are the ones who get that number, or they're in that number group. So if January 15th was number 1, then anybody born on January 15th would be the first to get the draft notices. And when they're doing this, they're probably calling up enough people that multiple groups, say groups 1 through 150, are all going to get draft notices right out of the gate.
Yeah.
But then as Congress and the president ask for a specific number of troops, and then once they reach that number, the draft notices stop getting sent out. And then if they say, well, we need more people, they'll start going back to the sequence of call is what it's called. And then they go to the next group and the next group and the next group until they keep fulfilling these numbers. And then when they run out of 20-year-olds, then they go to other age groups.
Yeah, they move up from that point to 21. And, let's just say they keep needing people. It would go 21 through 25. Mm-hmm. Then if they run out of 25-year-olds, that means we're in big trouble.
Yeah.
As a country.
The Martians are winning.
Then they hop back to age 19. And then if the most dire circumstance comes around, then they hop back finally to 18-year-olds. Yes.
So that's all of our 18
call, like you
18 to 25-year-olds.
Yeah.
Have just been gone through in the military, basically, is what just happened if they get down to the 18-year-olds.
Yeah. So then if your name is called, you are sent to or you report, I guess, to a regional military entrance processing station. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they call it something different, like they have some cute short name for it.
REMEPS.
I don't think this one is a...
REMEPS. I'll bet it's REMEPS.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. My brother-in-law's in the Marines, and it's astounding how many... what are those called? Not contractions, but...
Acronyms?
Acronyms.
Oh, yeah.
For everything. It's unbelievable.
They hate saying whole words in the military.
Well, it's like another language, and then when he's talking to me, he'll say the acronym and then the real thing, but he just, he can't help but say the acronym.
Well, sure. Do you ever point out, how much time he just wasted saying both?
Yeah, I do that all the time. He loves it.
Sir.
So then they report to this REMEPS, or REMEP. No, it'd be REMEPS.
Yeah.
And this is where, you undergo your physical, your psych evaluation, your mental and moral evaluation. Mm-hmm. And the doctor says, you can either keep going forward or, hey, you're wealthy and you have bone spurs, so maybe we'll hold you out.
You really wanted a bigger response from that one, huh?
I don't know. I don't know what I want anymore. But if you are fit for service, then you have 10 days from that point, if you want, to file an exemption, a claim for exemption or postponement or deferment.
Right.
And then from that point forward, if you want a special classification, then you go through that whole process. Yeah.
So one of the other things that the selective service system does is, so it's bringing in all the people who are eligible for the draft, and making sure they get evaluated to see if they're fit for service. And then it's also handling and administering the exemption and postponement and deferment process too. It's like two separate streams. It's one stream, and then it breaks into two streams. One stream goes into the military, the other one gets sorted out, right?
Yes.
So if you are, if you're, say, like a high school student or something like that, and you file that 10-day claim for exemption or whatever, you'll just send in a piece of paper, maybe something from your high school that says, no, Josh is still in high school, so he shouldn't be going into the draft, and they will say, here's your exemption, kid.
Josh
Actually,
is 20, he's in high school, don't ask.
That would be, right, don't ask, don't tell. And that would be a postponement, I think, is what that would be, because they're saying, great, finish high school, we'll see you right after.
Yeah, I mean, if you're ready right then and you're fit for service, you're classified as 1A.
Right.
Something you heard a lot about in the Vietnam era. Like if you get picked and you were 1A, you were getting shipped out pretty quickly.
Right, exactly. Like you would go home, they would send you your letter, and probably in the letter they would tell you where to report.
Yeah, so high school's covered. If you're a college student, you can postpone for the remainder of that year. Or if you're a freshman, that's if you're a senior. If you're a freshman, sophomore, or junior, you can postpone till the end of the semester.
Yep, there's an exemption for religious ministers and people studying to become ministers
Who knew?
in recognized religions.
I thought they needed the Father Mulcahy's.
Yeah, I think that's I think you ask for a deferment. If they find that you're 1A, even if you're any of these, I think they will just take you regardless.
Sure.
But if you say, actually, I'm a religious minister, I don't feel comfortable about this, you can get a deferment like that. But if you're Father Mulcahy and you're like, I'm a religious minister, kill, 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 they'll say, come on in.
Or counsel the men who kill, kill, kill.
Sure. Father Mulcahy, he was a good character, wasn't he?
He's a good dude.
One of my favorites on MASH, actually, weirdly.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because he was like just such a side character, but
Yeah.
I liked him now that I think about it out loud.
Yeah, me too.
I watched Barney Miller last night for the first time in forever.
Whoa.
If you want to see a TV show, like a bona fide TV show where there's a script and actors and they've all rehearsed and there's like a plot and there's jokes and all that stuff and a laugh track too, watch Barney Miller and you will be, it's wonderful.
Yeah, which is to say it was like every other show on TV at the time.
At the time.
Yeah.
Try to find one of those now. You can't do it.
Well, I mean, they're on, but you probably just don't watch sitcoms anymore.
I guess they are on, aren't they?
I'm told.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Barney Miller holds up and maybe is even better than ever.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who were the side guys?
There's Fish. Abe Vigoda was Fish.
Hojon?
Wojo.
Hojon. I don't know where I came up with that.
You're thinking of Lil Jon.
Yeah, and then who was the other guy?
There was Chano.
Yeah.
There was I can't remember the Asian guy's name. That was
Wojon, right?
No. Wojo was the
Wojo.
He was like the young kind of like bachelor dude with the terrible haircut.
Oh yeah.
He
was probably like Wojciechowski or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what his name was. I think.
Okay, yeah.
And then there was the Asian man. I can't remember what his name was, but he was such a great character. They would reference him when he wasn't even in the episode. They'd talk about him. That's great. That's a good character. And then Ron Glass. I can't remember
Ron Glass.
what the name of the detective Ron Glass played was, but great television show still, and maybe the best television theme song of all time too.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't it have a slap bass in it?
Oh yeah. Do you want to do it?
Ron Glass played Ron Harris.
Okay.
And Nick Yamana was the character's name.
Oh, okay. And who played Nick Yamana?
Jack Sue.
Okay. Cool.
Man, great. Hal Linden, man, what a classic.
Yeah.
Where were you watching that?
Where?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean what station? There's something called Antenna TV. It's like all awesome reruns. There's something else called Cozy, Cozi TV.
Yeah.
They basically do the same thing. And like you'll find them in the non-HD channels a little further down the dial, but they're good. And now they each owe me a $20 Target gift card.
That's a hot tip. So back to the draft.
Oh, yeah.
We covered, we got off track with Father Mulcahy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are have dependents, like I was saying, like my father with a family of 2 or 3,
mm-hmm.
If you are a government official, like if you're a judge, which would be unusual that young, but any kind of elected official.
A governor,
you could be a young mayor,
state legislator.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of, I'll bet that rankles a lot of people because those are the very people who are sending the military into war, you know?
Yeah, and I guess the idea of a 24-year-old mayor who gets a deferment wouldn't go over super well in times of war.
Yeah, I guess not.
And then finally, and we'll get into this pretty in-depth, but conscientious objectors, which is a whole ball of wax right there, but that is when you hold religious or moral beliefs, then you can, well, I guess we should go ahead and get into it, huh?
Well, do you want to take a break and then get into it, or you want to get into it and then take a break? It's your choice, buddy.
Let's get into it, then take a break.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you remember our pacifism episode?
I do.
That was a great one, and I know for a fact that we talked about conscientious objectors in that as well.
Yeah.
But if you are drafted, and here's the thing, again, you still have to register for selective service. If they ever initiate the draft, you will still get a draft notice, and then you'll report to the regional center, the REMAPs, right?
Yeah.
Or REMAPs. And you will say to them, I am morally opposed to war. And they'll say, this war? Which is a trick question.
Yeah.
And you say, no, all war. And they'll go, oh, okay, well, that's a bird of a different feather. Let's get this thing started. So you have 10 days to file this claim for exemption. And then that's going to kick off this basically an interview process by the local board. These local boards are another thing that gets activated by the SSS being activated itself. There's 5 civilians who sit on a local board, and each local board serves X number of like kids in an area.
Yeah, these
right?
are volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
It should be pointed out.
And they're there to hear special cases to decide whether or not you get that exemption for things like a hardship, like if you're a father, sole breadwinner kind of thing, or if you're a conscientious objector. And with the conscientious objector specifically, they're going to ask you, well, which kind are you? Are you opposed to like carrying a gun and like shooting at people on the front lines? Are you opposed to combat? Or are you opposed to like being in the military at all? And there's actually 2 classifications for that.
And at this point they have called you down. Like certain things like high school, or maybe if you have a family of 6, like they can just go ahead and rubber stamp you. Mm-hmm. But you're going to get called down there in person, and you'll want to as an objector. And the 2 classifications that you mentioned is 1AO, which if you're morally opposed to serving in combat, or 1O, 1-0, and this is if you are saying, I don't want to be in the military. I don't want to be a chef. I don't want to be a cook. I don't want to be a priest or deliver mail or write for the newspaper. I don't want to write for the Stars and Stripes. Is that what it was called? Mm-hmm. Is that still around?
Probably. I know Voice of America is.
Is that the current main rag?
It may be different. Well, they're everywhere. They're like big time media outlet for the military. Good one.
Each branch has their own rag too.
Well, the Stars and Stripes, that's what Matthew Modine was a writer for in Full Metal Jacket. Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
Photographer though, right?
No, he walked around with the photographer. He was the reporter.
Gotcha. All right. So in the draft, if you are classified as 1AO, which is morally opposed to combat only, then they will probably try to still assign you to some sort of service.
Oh, yeah.
Like we were talking about, like in the mailroom or whatever.
Well, there's plenty of stuff you can do besides being on the front line in the military. It's
plenty.
Huge machine that has a lot of different parts to it. So, yeah, they will definitely find a spot for you. If you're morally opposed to serving the military, if you're saying, like, I'm totally opposed to war, I don't agree with what you're doing, I don't agree with any war whatsoever, so I don't want to help out in any way, shape, or form, they'll say, okay, you still have to serve. You're still going to have a tour of duty, just like anybody who is 1A and goes into the military to serve in the draft. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a tour of duty too, but instead they will assign you to basically what's called the Alternative Service Program, where you contribute to the country for like X number of years, like as in healthcare or in conservation is another big one too, where they basically just put you to work to keep the country, make it better.
Yeah, and you're like you said before, it has to be opposed to all war, and it can't be because of political beliefs.
Right.
So it has to be based on moral or ethical or religious beliefs. You can't just say, hey, man, if there was a 9/11, I'd be down, but I don't like this jerk who's in office, and I don't agree with their politics, so I'm not into this war. They'll say, sorry, that doesn't really count.
Which, I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, at any rate, you have to appear, explain all this stuff. You might want to bring in some friends. You might want them to ask or to maybe write something for you ahead of time. You will probably want to demonstrate through historical evidence that you have always felt this way. Like, look, here's me at a peace rally 9 years ago.
And 8 years ago and 7 years ago. And
yeah, you want to really build up your case that, like, this is something I've lived with my whole life.
Right. If you like, I'm a Quaker, and see, here are my Quaker friends telling you that I'm a Quaker,
and here's my funny hat,
right,
my belt buckle shoes.
Did you just start eating handfuls of dry oats during the interview to prove to prove you're a Quaker.
You might get a different reclassification if that's the case.
Yeah, right.
So you're doing all this stuff to build your case. If they deny you, you can appeal the decision. So it's not like the final word. But I don't know how many appeals you get. My guess would be one.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure if you necessarily get one, but ideally this board of citizens are going to say this guy actually is morally opposed to war, and then not say, but I'm not, and I don't think he should be, so he's going to go anyway.
Right.
They're supposed to just say, is this person morally opposed to war? Do you buy that? Yes? Okay, then they should get this deferment. But this is set up so that if you... They say there's a place for you to serve your country, even if you don't believe in war or even helping a war effort.
Gotcha.
You want to take that break now?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Learning things with Chuck and Chuck. Learning all the things, stuff you should know.
Hey, everybody. I want to talk to you a little bit about Tide Evo because it represents over 10 years of innovation and product development. Tide Evo is a first-of-its-kind technology where tens of thousands of minuscule fibers are spun together to form a 6 times powerful layer packed with scrubbers, brighteners, pre-treaters, and fresheners. And that's going to deliver a breakthrough clean that's so powerful it feels like magic.
Yeah, it is kind of like magic. Tide Evo is revolutionary. A 100% concentrated, waterless laundry tile that's made of compressed microfiber soap layers rather than liquid or powder. And it's not like pods or sheets because it uses 6 layers of detergent fibers to deliver superior cold water cleaning without plastic packaging of any kind. And it provides a mess-free, lightweight solution that dissolves lickety-split. So whenever you run into a laundry challenge, turn to Tide Evo. It's revolutionary. It's magic. Try new Tide Evo. Real laundry magic.
Introducing the all-new Mazda CX-5, featuring more connection.
Hey Google, where's the nearest Pilates class?
Safety that has your back. More discovery on the scenic routes. More passion in the details. And more control in changing weather. The all-new Mazda CX-5. More to move every side of you.
See it in 5 films at MazdaUSA.com/5sides.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC. Sequences shortened and simulated.
All right, Chuck. So I think this is a really, really controversial topic, the idea of a draft. And I think it would be far more controversial if it looked like it might be coming down the pike at any given point.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of reasons that people point to that they say, this is what we have now is totally awesome. For one, what we have now, again, and we have had since 1973, is an all-volunteer force, which means that every single person who is in the military, in any branch of the military in the United States, is there on their own volition. No one's forcing them to. Even if a judge said either join the Army or go to jail, they still had a choice. So that makes it a what's called a professional volunteer army, where they get paid, they submit themselves to serious training, and they are about as good a soldier as you will expect to find in the world. That's the current state of our military. And they say, this is plenty. We're doing fine with this. We don't need any kind of draft. So why would you even bring that up?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who say, well, there's some real pros to having a conscription.
Yeah, I mean, that article you sent, some of the pros were as follows: promoting national unity. And all of these are subject to opinion, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a debate. It's a controversial topic.
Yeah. It maintains an active military force. Obviously, that's kind of inarguable.
Mm-hmm.
It ensures high levels of participation in government. This, makes a little bit of sense. You'll probably pay a lot more attention to what's going on if faced with the threat, or I don't know if threat's the right word, but if faced with the prospects of a draft.
That, to me, is probably the best argument for a draft. It's saying like, if you are possibly going to get drafted and go to war just by being born as a citizen of this country, you're expected to be part of the military at some point in your life. You're going to pay a lot more attention to what the U.S. is doing around the world with its military, and you're probably going to stand up and make your voice heard if you disagree with what the U.S. is doing with the military.
Yeah.
I mean, that definitely makes sense in some ways. But at the same time, so that argument, what you just said is it's for proponents of a conscription, of a draft.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also make the opposite case, too, that people have said, well, when we had a draft before, we prosecuted at least one, like, by definition, unjust war, the Vietnam War. And it was prosecuted by Johnson and Nixon, and they just kept sending wave after wave of American soldiers into harm's way. And some historians and some political scientists say they might not have done that had they not known that there was a virtually unlimited pool of soldiers that they could just send into Southeast Asia over and over again.
Yeah.
And that we wouldn't be prosecuting wars that way. I'm sorry. So the 27 years before 1973, we were engaged in 19 overseas military operations. Between 1973 and 2012, we had 144. And so a lot of people say, no, man, if you have a professional army, they're divorced from society. They're basically like, here, military, like, go handle this. We don't like these people anymore. We want that oil. Go do this. Like, what do we pay you for? Go do it. And the people who are doing this have never been in the military, haven't been exposed to military life, and are hence maybe a little more insouciant about sending the military in to other countries using a military option. So that is like two of the best reasons for or against conscription, but they totally contradict each other. And it's just fascinating to me that you can have something that's just that ambivalent or ambiguous, I mean.
Yeah. Two different words.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Some of the cons, the cons are all pretty obvious. It violates someone's free will.
Mm-hmm.
It may keep you from going to college. Puts lives at risk for young people. This one compromises the quality of military service. That's a big con to me,
mm-hmm.
is you're getting sometimes people in there that aren't cut out for that and
right.
couldn't find a way and didn't have the wealthy father or the shady doctor to get you out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That
is a big one, especially if you're one of those people who points to the American military and says, we've never had a better this is the best version of the U.S. military in the history of the country.
Yeah.
But let's dilute it with millions of conscripts who don't want to be there, who we have to spend an inordinate amount of time training and sending out to the front lines basically as bodies. That's a terrible idea. It dilutes the professionalism of the military.
Yeah, for sure.
That's another one that's got two. All of these have two pretty clear sides to every point, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
And then I think the other thing I've seen too is, so this is not like a huge hot debate right now in military and political science quarters, but it is currently debated. It's just the people who are against conscription are not worried about this at all. It's just not going to happen anytime soon, right?
Yeah.
There's just no reason for it to happen. But the people who are in favor of it are being accused of this being a backdoor way of changing America's interventionist military usage. That they're basically saying, let's get a draft going, and then people will wake up and say, oh, we shouldn't be using the military like this. And that's their real aim, which... I guess trying to change strategy by introducing conscripts, it's a way to go, I suppose. Yeah, but it is interesting to just be like, to learn about something that you have no idea is being discussed or talked about. And then when you start looking in, it's like, oh, there's even stuff below the surface. Like they're talking about grand military strategy, really.
Yeah.
Not just whether people should serve their country or not, which is another pro, that it creates a unified sentiment among Americans or any country. There's plenty of countries out there who do this. I think North Korea, you're conscripted for 10 years as a man and I think 6 years as a woman.
Man.
That there's this sense of like, I was in the military too. Where did you serve? Oh, I served here. Oh, really? Did you know this guy? And, like there's that common ground. And there's also that mixing of all different Americans to where you're meeting with them and living with them one-on-one. And you're forming a bond, a kinship just through being in the military, that if everyone has to go through that, it will create like this kind of sense of national unity that America's lacking right now. That was another pro that I saw.
Yeah. Very interesting.
I'm all out of pros and cons, Chuck.
Well, I read this New York Times article that was really interesting, talking about Vietnam and then the Cold War and how that complicated things.
Mm-hmm.
And since World War II, I think the Selective Service was operated by General Louis B. Hershey. And like I said earlier, it didn't face a lot of criticism until Vietnam. Mm-hmm. And that's when things got really hinky because, A, a lot of people were against the war, and B, it became pretty clear, even though the Department of Defense didn't keep records on socioeconomic status beyond like, are you white or are you African American?
Uh-huh.
It was pretty clear that if you were white and middle class and up, you had a much higher chances of getting a deferment. So the Cold War complicated things further because it wasn't a war, and it became really clear that we needed to it was all about the space race or the military race with the Soviets.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden, Hershey said, he didn't say this out loud, but he said, you know what, I'm going to use this as, they called it, we could be the storekeeper of America's manpower supply. And basically, it's up to us how to tell these young men what lives they're going to live. So not only, let's forget the military for a second. They needed a big supply of men in STEM fields to develop weapons and science and everything to keep up with the Soviets. So all of a sudden, the deferments, they started channeling these middle-class, college-aged or college-educated white men into what they called manpower channeling into all of these other areas of study and research and, design and manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a really interesting time. So all of a sudden, during World War II, if you were a factory worker or an agricultural worker, you might get a deferment. Chances were pretty good that you might because you were really needed. After that, if you had a farm or you worked in a factory, you were out of luck because you weren't into physics or, other STEM fields or in the medical field. So by 1965, all these middle-class white men kind of expected deferments, which is really interesting. And then you had Robert McNamara, Secretary of Defense. He started using what they called, he wanted to get basically black men out of what he called squalid ghettos of their own external environment and into the internal and more destructive ghetto of personal disillusionment and despair. So basically his idea was, we have all these black men in this country that would do much better in life if we put them in the military. So they
wait, hold on. So this is just this one guy deciding this?
Well, I mean, I'm sure it went through channels, but Robert McNamara, as Secretary of Defense, was very powerful.
Okay. I thought this was Hershey. This is McNamara who took over at this point?
Yeah, this is McNamara who created what was called the New Standards model.
Okay.
So these men, they were called New Standards men who were otherwise ineligible for military service, all of a sudden were eligible. So he started basically 354,000 of these men between 66 and 77 who were not previously eligible under the New Standards program were, and 40% of these men were black. And this is when the military was about 9% African American. So he basically was saying, a stint in the military as a New Standard soldier is much better. It'll make you a better husband, better father, a better breadwinner, ultimately, and a better citizen. And you were basically an infantryman in Vietnam all of a sudden when you previously would not have even been in the war. So this ran for 5 years. And like I said, 354,000 men ended up on the front lines of Vietnam and had a decent chance of dying.
Yeah, I saw that. I think like 25% of the troops in Vietnam were draftees, but draftees made up like 30.4% of the casualties in Vietnam, which goes to kind of point out, like, if you have somebody there who's not like, yes, I want to be a soldier, teach me how to be a soldier, but they're there against their will, there's a really good likelihood that after just 6 months of training, they're going to go out there and get killed, which is a big mark against conscription in just about anybody's mind.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. McNamara, he was, did you ever see Fog of War?
Oh, yeah.
When he, do you buy that it dawned on him what he had done or what he was really responsible for, there on camera, or was he just putting on a show?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about? Where he kind of breaks down toward the end, and it seems like it was an Errol Morris flick, right?
Yeah, very compelling. It sort of lulls you in to some great insider information.
It's definitely worth watching. It's just basically like an interview with Robert McNamara, and in it, Errol Morris basically leads him to the conclusion that he really was responsible for a lot of unnecessary death because of the Vietnam War and how he prosecuted it as defense secretary.
Yeah, and I kind of mangled that op-ed in the Times, but it's called, and you should read this out there in podcast land, it's called How the Draft Reshaped America by Amy J. Ruttenberg from October of last year. And she does a much better job than I just did.
I'll check it out, too. I'm so ashamed that I didn't read something in prep.
Don't be.
You got anything else?
I got nothing else.
All right. Well, everybody, that was the draft. And if you want to know more about it, go type in draft in the search bar at howstuffworks.com. And since I said that, it's time for listener mail.
Yeah, and we didn't get into stuff like the fact that Elvis was drafted and weird things like that happened back then.
Well, yeah, and I mean, that was a demonstration for how, everybody is supposedly eligible for the draft, even though that's not really how it's always worked out.
Yeah, and I think we talked about that in pacifism, too.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to call this Cute Kid Email from Scotland.
Nice.
And this is from Noah in Scotland. And
Noah's writing in again, remember?
Did he write in before?
Oh, yeah, Noah's written in plenty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hey, Noah.
Well, Noah and his mom added a little postscript. Dear Josh and Chuck, I'm using my mama's email address again as she's helping me type. And she's helping me type, but in getting better, my next email will be typed just by me.
Wow.
I really liked your skyscrapers episode and wanted to tell you a cool fact. The Shanghai Tower in China is 128 levels high. It's my favorite tower because I think its engineering is the best. And it's the thing second highest one. And she said she just typed exactly as he said. Its damper is my favorite part. It's a new type called a tuned mass damper. This stops it from going too far to one side by using 125 super strong magnets. The thing my mama likes is that the big empty space they need for the damper means the sound is good and there's a music hall in there. I got mama to put on a diagram of how it works from a magazine called Popular Mechanics. I'm 6 now.
Wow.
And on my summer holidays, when my cousins come around and are being too noisy, I go to my room and listen to your next episode or my new Roald Dahl audiobooks.
Nice.
You're still funny, but sometimes I don't know what you're talking about. Love from Noah in Scotland. And then from Mom Rachel, she said, Noah's mom here. I hope this makes sense. Tried to type it verbatim. When your 6-year-old's knowledge of physics vastly outreaches your own, you know it's time to call in the big guns. Have we read one from Noah before?
Yes, I can't remember what he wrote in about, but yeah, he wrote in back when he was 5, maybe 4, but definitely 5. Yeah, he's written in, and Mom typed it verbatim then too, and then kind of added a little appendage saying virtually the same thing, hope this made sense.
All right, well, Noah, we will read one of your emails a year.
Yeah.
Until we stop or until you stop listening.
Noah's the new Sarah, the amazing 11-year-old fan.
That's right, who is, 21 now?
Yeah, she should be coming back into the fold again soon.
Yeah.
We lose them in high school and then get them back as grown-ups.
That's the idea.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Noah and your mom, thank you very much for writing in. And if you want to get in touch with me or Chuck or Jerry, you can go to stuffyoushouldknow.com and check out all of our social media links. And also, you can send us an email directly to stuffpodcast@howstuffworks.com.
For more on this and thousands of other topics, visit howstuffworks.com.
When it comes to small business, people want to talk to people, not bots, not voicemail. Your customers or clients want a real human connection, and that's exactly what they get with Ruby. Ruby is the virtual receptionist company that takes care of your callers when you're unavailable, in the middle of something, or just don't want to pick up. They can answer, screen, and transfer calls, as well as take messages, collect payments, book appointments, and more. All while saving you time and making the people you serve feel special. It's available 24/7, 365 days a year, and is 100% based in the U.S. See how it works at ruby.com, or better yet, give them a call at 844-900-RUBY.
The next time you end up with something on your shirt, don't turn to your usual detergent. Check out Tide Evo. Tide Evo represents over 10 years of innovation in product development. It's a revolutionary 100% concentrated waterless laundry tile made of compressed microfiber soap layers rather than liquid or powder. It's not pods and it's not sheets. It uses 6 layers of detergent fibers to deliver superior cold water cleaning without plastic packaging. It's mess-free, lightweight, and dissolves quickly. Try new Tide Evo. Real laundry magic.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.